Hi there, it's Kevin from the Figaro Owners Club, and it's great to be with you. What I wanted to do today was talk about one of the main issues with the Figaro, and it's to do with the roof and the replacement of the roof, or the hood if you like. Now we all know that the car's coming up to 28 years old now. This video has been shot in 2019, and I wanted to show you really the type of issues you have with the hood and why they would need replacing. Chances are the hood on your current Figaro, possibly not the existing one, it may well be, but I would imagine being 28 years old it's possibly been replaced. But I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about here. I'm actually at the Figaro Shop today, so they've got a whole load of a graveyard of Figaros, as you can see here. So we've got some great examples of some really old roofs, so these might be as bad as what you've got now, or possibly going that way. One of the issues you get with the Figaro is obviously what they call shrinkage. There is obviously this gasket running along the top, which obviously compresses onto the roof, and it does make it fairly waterproof. But what's happening here is over the years the roof has shrunk, and this can be due basically to UV, so the sunshine has shrunk the roof, or just the age of the car, and you've got something almost like an inch here, or about 20mm gap here, and obviously water's going to get in there and it's basically going to end up rusting inside here, and it's also not going to be draining through there, and it's going to be going into the cockpit. So as you can see, this is a really bad roof. This does need replacing. Obviously you can sometimes get issues here at the front as well, whereas the compression of the roof, where it goes down, it's not lining up with the front, it's not pushed right to the front here. There should be no gap at all at the front. And obviously things like tears in the roof as well. There's another one here, as you can see, all in really quite bad condition. Obviously this is as I said, a graveyard of Figaros, but it's good to show you how a roof can be. There's another one here with a really bad split, and a bad one over here as well. So there we go, that's even worse. So anyway, what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be working with some of the guys at the Figaro Shop. We're going to be changing the roof on Bell, which is the club car, and we're going to obviously be going through the elements of changing the roof, because obviously what happens here is the Figaro Shop will actually send the roof out to you, and they've got some instructions. But as we all know, it's really good to watch a video. It means so much more, and it's much quicker to follow. So hopefully at the end of this particular video you'll be able to fit the roof yourself, and happy days. So we're going to move to the first part of the roof, which is obviously taking the existing roof off. So here we are in one of the Figaro Shop's workshop, and we're actually with Lewis. He's going to be the guy who's going to be actually doing the work on the roof. So the first thing I think we're going to be doing is Lewis is going to be taking the roof off and inspecting it to see what's going on underneath it. But before he's going to do that, also he's prepared the roof, which is something you need to consider. Obviously if you're fitting it yourself, if you've got a workshop or a garage, is obviously with the existing roof, this is what you're going to be getting, which is going to be coming in the post, rolled up. And obviously the first thing to do is inspect it all, make sure it all looks correct, and obviously create an area in your workshop or your garage that's nice and clean and tidy. With all these type of jobs, you know, work in a methodical way. Don't rush the job, because obviously, you know, you've only got a one chance of doing it, especially working with Evo stick, which is what we're going to be doing today. So the first thing Lewis is doing is looking at what's going on here, and just seeing actually what the roof condition is like. The first thing is to, as you say, is removing this trim, I guess, here. Just talk a little bit to the camera then, Lewis. So
just remove the front leading edge rubber.
Okay.
Then we bend these little tabs back, so just gives us more access, so that we can obviously start peeling all of the old material away.
Yep. Okay.
Gives us a bit more access in them.
And you can see what we've done here. So we've raised the top rear boot here, and this obviously gives a little shelf for the roof, and a nice easy way to work on it. So yeah, we'll be cracking on with it now. So you need to unclip the inner plastic bezel at the back. This is the piece, the rear windscreen, obviously, and it's just held in basically by plastic clips. So what Lewis is doing is obviously pulling that out using a little tool there, but it's a fairly easy job. I've done it before with my fingers, so if you haven't got the tool, you can use your fingers, but obviously if you've got the tools, a little trimming tool is probably what you need for that. So as you can see, what we've done is create a little area here to put the parts as you remove them from the car, because as I said, you know, create a little area in your workshop or your garage to do that, so everything's kept together.
What we're going to do is just remove the inner liner, which will then give you access to all the bolts for the rear frame.
Oh, I've got you. Okay, so there's 6 of these, as I seem to remember.
6 of these,
yeah.
That's
Okay,
it.
perfect.
And then there's a little bar just behind here which we'll remove in a sec.
Okay. What are you doing?
So what we're going to do is take this centre bar out here that's holding the lining up. Now if you look at the middle one, there's a clip that goes up.
Yep, got it.
And then the 2 side ones, they were the ones that come down.
Okay, yes, that's right. Yes, one up, one down. Yep, that's it.
And then the whole bar comes out.
So you can see that's right through here, what we're talking about with these little tabs here. Yeah. Okay.
And what I do as a tip, take that out. This will come handy later on.
Okay, perfect. What's the next step?
And then after undoing those 6 bolts, bottom of the roof.
Okay, I'll come round. Yep, perfect.
That's what you're
So
looking
that's
at.
that's the studs from the 6 bolts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're ready to go. Obviously check the condition of it, make sure
Yep.
it's not rusty.
Okay.
And if you want clean up under here as well, because sometimes the roof could be either a little lower or a little higher depending on the adjustment of how tight it is. So it might be worth giving that a little clean up under there. And then we're going to cut the top roof line out.
The point of no return.
Yes, committed. Through here.
So what we're doing now is, this is the moment of truth apparently, so we're starting to cut, so we're having to cut this point here,
Just to give
the back
access.
top plate.
And sometimes it'll come off easy, sometimes it don't.
Yeah, this is where it's been glued before. Okay, I don't need to video you doing all of that, but that's the general idea. So so you're cutting from here, and then I'll peel it off
around.
as opposed to cutting sort of through here. Yep, got you. Okay, so this is the following the roof lining, but with a blade, I guess. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just
So
be very careful when doing this because you don't want to cut any rubbers or
no,
the
okay.
inner roof lining, so just really take your time.
Take your time.
And then what you'll find here are your cables which keep this part of the roof taut.
Okay.
These sometimes rust away and snap off. If it has snapped off, just use like a, got one over here. So if these have rusted away, usually just cut the cable where you can, obviously where there's no rust, and then just use like an insulated electrical connector.
Okay, yeah, electrical.
Crimp it onto the cable and then rivet it back to the rear frame.
That's a good idea, yeah, okay, good.
I suggest is mask up the size of the roof here, because in this panel you're going to be moving it around quite a lot and you don't want it to damage the paintwork on your roof. That's a really good tip. Just put a bit of masking tape there. We'll be doing another session with masking tape, which is to stop getting glue all over the hood. But that comes a little later on.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good tip. Yeah, because
it
that'd be so easy, wouldn't it, to chip?
It slides over, it moves all over the place.
Yeah,
You don't want it to damage your paintwork.
Yeah.
When cutting the roof, down the side channel here will be this little cable, which we just showed earlier with the rivet on the end. Just be careful not to damage it. And also at the end here, there's a spring mechanism in here that keeps the roof nice and taut. Just make sure that that's moving nice and freely, which will obviously keep all the roof line nice and tight to the roof seal of the car.
So this is the important part as well. This is the existing part. You're not really going to be touching this at all.
Well, we're going to drill out this
drill
rivet
that
here
out, pull it through,
and pull it through the next route.
Yep.
The roof is all cut.
Okay, so it's all cut now, all around down the sides and the back. Yep.
The last bit of cutting we've got to do is on these bars here. Where the roof goes, this bit's not needed on the new roof, so what I would usually do is just cut it across here and then pull the roof away. Just be careful of, obviously you're in a liner and everything. And what I usually do is just go across the top. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
And then there's another one just here.
Okay, so that's the outside of the roof off now, and you can see the actual structure underneath here with 2 bars and the webbing, which obviously keeps it all together. Any other points to consider here before we move on?
The rivets that hold the bows on, sometimes they corrode and they snap off. Just drill them out and replace them.
These here, okay.
Yeah, these rivets here.
Yep.
And then just check for any rust that's on the outside of here, because whatever's on this side of this panel reflects on the roof.
Yep.
So if you've got lumps and bumps and stuff here, you'll see
Of
them on
course,
the
yeah,
roof.
yeah, it's going to come out on the roof, isn't it? Yep.
So, you know, I'll try and take down and make them as smooth as you possibly can.
Okay.
This one's really good, so
Good stuff.
you don't have to worry.
Okay, so we pulled the roof back, positioned it back up onto the top boot again, and as you say, Lewis is just saying be a little bit mindful of the plate at the back, make sure it doesn't fall onto the paintwork and damage the car at all. So this is the last part of the process now, I guess, removing some of this. One thing to look at as well, Lewis just pointed out that there's under here on this plate here, there's a small trim which runs around the top of this plate, and it's really important to have this on the roof, because if it's not here, what happens when the roof is fitted over the top of here, this could actually cut through the roof. So this is providing some sort of protection to the edge of that metal and obviously to the roof as well.
If you have got some areas where there's sort of splits in it, or it's not even there usually, just put a bit of gaffer tape.
A little bit of gaffer tape, yeah.
Make sure it's flat on this side.
Yep.
But just put a bit of gaffer tape around, that'll help.
Yep, just to give it that little bit of sponginess and protection from the actual raw metal. Yeah, good stuff. So what Lewis is doing now is he's actually removing the Evo stick that's on the existing panel here. Now this may not be as bad as it is on Bell, on a car that's not been done before, but obviously this has been done before, so you can see the Evo stick is fairly thick on here, and he's using like a rubber applicator here with connected to a gun drill. It's really good actually. It's like your fingers on the Evo stick. Getting it right back to the original, and obviously we've covered the car up to do that. As I said, I mean, I've actually done a roof myself before, and I've not had to do this, so I think it very much depends on whether the car's been done before as to whether you need to do this to this level, so something to consider. Okay, so now we're going to start preparing the new hood with its, I think is it 2 coats of this then?
2 coats of this, yeah. The first one's like a primer, and then the other one we go for the full adhesive, and as you can see there are lines marked out, which is roughly where the roof's going to be. I'll just glue up to their edges.
Oh, okay, so this is lined up. Yeah, okay. Can't quite see this in the video, but yeah.
Yeah, it does disappear with the glue on it as well.
So we're using Evo stick here, which is obviously available at all good glue shops, and you know, something Lewis is saying, be very careful with this, especially on the paintwork of the car. And one of the things he's going to do is certainly when we're doing the rest of the cars, to mask these areas with masking tape, because you don't want to get Evo stick on here. It is very corrosive, and this is the type of thing that you just need to take your time. And I think interestingly, Lewis is not using a paintbrush, which is the way I did it before. He's actually using what is that, like
just a car body filler spreader, or
just a
real thin ice scraper if you've got
just
one.
a thin piece of plastic basically, which does the job really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. And this is the first of 2 coats?
First of 2.
Yeah, okay, so and coat 1, we're going to leave it for what, sort of half an hour or something? Or?
Well, yeah, about 5-10 minutes.
Okay, yep.
The idea is don't put it on too thickly, it only needs to be a fine coat.
Okay, I don't need to video all this, but you've got the general idea. Okay, so we've managed to remove all of the glue from this plate as well. And so that's how it would sit into the car. So I think the next stage is to drill these rivets out, understand, yeah? To thread
drill
it.
These rivets out.
So we can pull the wire through the
new hood.
Through the new hood, okay. So to do this, yeah, just a little duster underneath it, and what's that, like a 3mm drill, something like that?
This is 4, but a 3 will work. Yeah.
So just trying to take the head off of the rivet so it basically falls through.
Nice, there you go.
There we go. Straight off. So give it a wiggle. That's the usual technique.
There you go.
That's it. And that's what you end up with. So that's what it should look like. And obviously what we're saying earlier is if there's a problem with it, then you can always get one of these electrical connectors and pop that on there. But we discussed that earlier, so good. So before you put the new roof on as well, I just thought it would be worth just saying it's probably worth inspecting the roof here and making sure all these bits are here. So here we've got like a little neoprene edging strip that runs down here. That should be here. And then obviously you've got these pieces that run around here, and these little this looks like little neoprene rubber bits here that obviously the hood sits on. So again, making sure all these are in place. If they're not, obviously just make these up. Okay, so we've got a little tip here. This is a piece out of the back of the inner hood. So we're going to use this for
poking down the channel.
Okay, so we've got a pocket in there.
Yeah. And then he'll come out the other side.
Come round. That's gone down inside the pocket there.
Yeah, down the side.
Yep,
yeah.
Got you.
And we attach our cable.
That's right. And put it down through there. That's a good tip. So the next part is to re-rivet the wires. Obviously using a rivet. Done. Perfect.
And then what I tend to do is put a bit of gaffer tape over this. So
Yeah.
obviously there's no sharp edge.
Okay,
the rub against
that's
the
right,
corner.
yeah, a bit of gaffer over here. Okay, so we're now ready for the gluing, and we're starting with the rear panel, so we don't do the front, we do the rear, important to say that. And what we've actually done is we just put a bit of masking tape on the new hood here, because we don't want to get glue on here. So what we're doing is applying the Evo stick to the actual rear panel here, and it goes on only on this side, so obviously not underneath here or where it's connecting to. So we're going to be applying it all the way along here, so it's going to have one coat on here and another coat, because we've already given this one coat, so we'll have 2 coats actually on the hood. So the first part is to apply the glue, which we're doing, as you can see, by a little bit by putting it on by hand, using yet another pair of rubber gloves. So you can see the process here is putting it on the actual hood first, and then getting a nice coat on there. As he's just said, it's easier just to do it with your fingers really. Try the spreader, but it seems to be easier just to apply it with your fingers.
You just don't want to put too much on.
No.
Try and keep it nice and even.
Also, what we've just said is a little bit of glue inside these pockets here. You can sort of see it quite well from this direction, and then that pushes down onto the plate when it's glued. Just doing it, finishing off now the last part. And how long do we leave this to dry? About another sort of 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I suppose, till it's touch dry.
Touch dry, that's right.
Yeah. And you need to do this at a certain temperature, I guess, don't you? It's, what's it, like 15 degrees in here, I guess, something like that. But obviously don't want to be too cold.
No, I mean, we are going to be getting the heat gun on it just
okay,
just to excite it a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it will stick together lovely.
So a little tip here, when you've pretty much dried the either sticks dry, we're just going to put a heat gun on here just to make the hood a little bit more malleable. You could use,
also softens up the glue as well, so when it makes contact it
softens up the glue. You can use obviously a hairdryer for this, you don't need a heat gun. Hairdryer's perfectly okay, but it's just drying the glue, making sure it's completely dry, and making the roof a little bit more malleable so it can be stretched over. So we've basically pulled this over. This, it's important to say this is only this side that's glued. There's no glue on this side at all. So what it means is you can actually position the roof really, really well, and making sure that the holes, these holes here, see these holes here, making sure that all of the holes are this side of the plate, 'cause obviously you don't want those on the other side exposed. They must be on the inside. So these holes here, which allows it to be shaped around the curvature of the roof. Make sure that these are just inside this tab here. The good thing is this actually gets clamped into this piece here, so it's going to be sandwiched through using these six bolts, 6 nuts on here. So the good news is where this has been pulled across here with this gluing, it's obviously going to be clamped, which is going to make it even more secure. What we're doing here is just cutting around these little studs. Obviously this is roughly where it should go, but not necessarily accurate, so just to make sure this is correct. Yeah. So obviously at the end of that you basically put the studs back through the 6 holes and put the nuts in. What Lewis was saying is position these in the middle. It's a slight U section here to allow a little bit of adjustment. So if you position the nuts in the middle, and don't be tempted just to put 2 on, you know, 1 at either end or 1 in the middle. Do all of them, all 6, and get them nice and tight before you move on to the front section. Okay. So we've got the front now wrapped over, and this bit is the glued part, obviously. And what we're doing is just again using the heat gun or hairdryer, and again what we talked about before with these holes is to make sure that they sit on the inside, and you can see what we're doing is fanning it around so you pull it nice and tight, get a nice shape on that edge there. Just come out and see what's going on. Difficult when you're being filmed, but it seems to be going on right. So as you see, you start off with this arrangement, and then you're pulling it around and getting a nice, what you're looking for here is a nice even finish, which I'll go around and have a quick look, see what it looks like. That looks lovely, see, beautiful. That's absolutely what you're looking for. Yeah, so what Lewis was just saying with these little tags here, don't pull them too tight because they could actually rip off. So
pull as much of the roof line
much as you dare, but as you can see, again, the holes sitting on the inside here, running around. This is a good gauge really. You can see it's fairly even. This is what you're looking for. Pretty much the same on the other side as well. Yeah. So the last part is to glue these what are we calling these? The
lockdown strips.
Lockdown strips, which obviously
tie it all together.
Ties it all together. Also looks nicer, doesn't it? Really,
Yeah.
when the hood's undone, you know, at the moment you've got this arrangement. Well, here really, without it.
Yeah.
And then with that stuck down, does two things really. Cosmetically, it improves the look, and secondly, it ties it all together and stops it moving.
Yeah.
And what we've just done there is just put a bit of masking tape either side, so we know where to apply the glue to.
Yeah.
So just sort of fit it first, and
it also helps when you done the glue, putting it back on.
Yeah.
Onto the roof, so
Yeah.
you can line up to your marks.
Perfect. Good stuff. And again, 2 coats of Evo stick on the locking unit there, and one on here. Okay, so this is what you call the bounce test, is it, Lewis?
Yeah, it's just to get this is what you want sort of tension wise, and you've got to put quite
a bit of push on it, yeah.
Just to close it
You
up.
can feel, I mean, that is
Tight as a drum.
tight as a drum. That is a drum, isn't it?
But then
Virtually.
eventually, through time, it will settle and
Yeah,
it will open up, and
Yeah.
it will open and shut like a normal Figaro.
yeah. No, that's good.
So it's
Yeah,
tension.
it's very, very tight there, as you say, yeah. It will over time loosen. Okay, so don't forget, we've got some little things here that this needs to pull over.
Yeah, they just
Is
hook
what you're
in.
saying, isn't it?
Yeah, so these just
Yeah. That's it.
hook in
Yeah,
there like that. There's one there
There's
as well.
one there, so there's 2 to do.
Just hooks in like that,
Okay, yeah.
and then that's all the.
So we were talking about the time to do this. What would you suggest? You do it in what, 4
About
hours?
4 hours, yeah.
But you know,
That's doing
probably
it
a
all
day,
every
isn't
day,
it? I would
yeah.
imagine.
I'll
Yeah.
definitely put aside a day
Yeah.
for it, and even then, it's not a rush.
No.
Because even with the glue, you can reapply more glue to it, even if it dries slightly. So you got all the time in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So take your time. Obviously, do it in reasonable weather if you're having to do it outside. In dry weather.
Ideally, if you can do
yeah.
it in your garage, but
Yeah.
you don't want it to be like sort of chilly because
No.
the glue just won't set.
No,
and
exactly.
You'll be
So
running around with a
yeah.
hairdryer all day long.
Yeah.
trying
And
that.
was it cut twice, measure once? No.
Measure
twice, got once. Yeah, got that around the wrong way. Oh dear, I'll live that down now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, it's looking good.
Just
Okay.
take your time.
Yeah, exactly.
Have everything all laid out, so all
Yeah.
your parts are all laid out.
That's it.
All your tools and the gluing stuff is all away from all like your trims and stuff.
Yeah.
And just, it is just take your time.
So it's all done. I'd like to thank Lewis very, very much indeed for doing our roof for us. Fantastic job. Thanks very much. And I hope you've learnt a lot from this video. As I said before, obviously the Figaro Shop can supply the roof to you. It does come with instructions, but obviously hopefully this video is some use to you guys and girls out there who want to fit your own roof. And look at the finish. Fantastic. It's tight as a drum. Absolutely brilliant. It's made such a difference to the look of the car. Really, really lovely lines here. Nice and tight all the way around. I'll do a little video. Absolutely superb. The only thing I need to do now is change this back vinyl, which I can do myself to match it, because this is a slightly off-white, isn't it? It's just to sort of match the roof, I think, before.
Sort of panels and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. So fantastic job. Thank you so much indeed, and hope you've enjoyed one of our videos from the Figaro Owners Club, and see you soon again. Bye. Bye.